Hey, good morning. Welcome to another One Mind meditation. Our teacher for this week is Jeff Brown. And every day I get ready for meditation, I really have a good time reading through his work and remembering how much I love his wisdom. Anthony, good morning. Grania, good morning. Hello. Anne-Marie, good morning. Danae, good morning. Annemie, good morning. Stefan, good morning. It's awesome seeing you all here. Sunmarie, a very good morning. Hello. Right, let's get into it. Let's get right into today's message. I believe that wisdom is to be found in our ability to balance the paradoxes of life. Hey Maggie, good morning. Good to see you. Tracy, good morning. I want you to take a moment with that and kind of see if you can feel it. See if you can feel the words, see if it hits your body in a certain way. Does it make sense? Do you get it? Wisdom is to be found in our ability to balance the paradoxes of life. The truth is that paradoxes are everywhere. We tend to be ill-equipped to deal with this complexity of life when we've been brought up with a kind of black and white thinking that wants to place everything in a box of either this or that. Let's look at the theme of courage as just an example. When you hear the word courage, what image does it immediately conjure up for you? Do you instantly see a brave man running into a burning house to save a puppy? Or is your mind ready to show you the whole spectrum of what courage could look like? The first thought from Jeff Brown today is such a beautiful depiction of the paradox of courage. And we can only hope to navigate this in the presence of wisdom. The first thought from Jeff Brown says, there are two forms of courage in the world. One demands that we jump into action with armor on, and the other demands that we strip ourselves bare naked and surrender. Bravery is such a curious thing, he says. I want to read that again, because it can take us such a journey to get to the place where our mind and our body both embrace the paradoxes of life in a graceful way. He says there are two forms of courage in this world. One demands that we jump into action with armor on. The other demands that we strip ourselves bare naked and surrender. Bravery is really a curious thing. Nella, good morning. Awesome seeing you. There are clearly both courageous acts, but how do we know which one is called for? When to armor up and run into battle, and when to strip the armor off and be authentic and vulnerable? This, of course, reminds me of the Serenity Prayer. Accept the things that we cannot change, which is surrender, and change the things that we can change, which is taking action. The concept is not too difficult to understand, but the last part of the Serenity Prayer is always where the gem is, the wisdom to know the difference, the wisdom to balance the paradoxes of life. This is the harder part, seeing with any kind of clarity what to let go of and what to take action on, when to do battle and when to make peace. Jeff Brown reminds us that divine wisdom, the wisdom to know the difference, flows through each of us, and we really only have to stop and ask. He says, stop looking for answers outside yourself. You are the sculptor of your own reality. Don't hand your tools to anyone else. And the last thought from him is, the only difference between you and God is that you have forgotten that you are divine. Today's meditation is a very practical stop and ask, with our hearts wide open, listening to our souls speaking. If you're ready, you can close your eyes and we'll float away together, starting with the first few big breaths. Let's take a deep breath in and out. A deep breath in and out. A deep inhale and let it go. Deep breath in and out. One more big breath in and let it all flow away. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose gets drawn all the way deep down into your belly. And as you fill up your belly with air, also raise yourself up. As you breathe in, stretch out your spine, lift the top of your head toward the ceiling. And once you've reached your full height, let all of it go. With every exhale, soften. With every breath out, soften your spine, slump down your shoulders, and drop your head. Continue with your own full body breathing. Your body rising with every inhale and falling with every exhale, while we have a conversation around paradox. Jeff Brown's example is so beautiful. Courage. What is courage? Is courage charging forward and taking action? Or is courage backing down and becoming softer? it is easy to want to place it into one of two boxes. But we only get to accept the beautiful truth of all the different faces of courage through wisdom. Niels Bohr, who was a contemporary of Albert Einstein, also some kind of a physicist, he had, from his science point of view, a beautiful explanation of paradox too. But he called the teaching something about truth. He said there is a shallow truth and there is a deep truth. He said that when we reach the shallow truth, something that's true, then the opposite statement of this thing is obviously false. This would be like embracing courage as something that wears armor and carries a shield and a sword. And anything that doesn't look like that cannot possibly be courage, right? This is what he called, when we reach the shallow truth, then the opposite thing is obviously false. But from a science point of view, he said there is a deep truth. And when we reach, we'll know when we reach the deep truth, when the opposite thing is equally true. What does courage look like? It wears a suit of armor, carries a shield and a sword, and the opposite thing is equally true. Courage can look very soft, very gentle. It can surrender. Life is full of paradox, and we can only hope to navigate this with the help of wisdom. We'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together, helping our bodies stretch, adjust, and settle down into as much comfort as possible for the rest of our journey. Let's take a deep breath in. As you release, drop your head all the way forward and roll out your neck muscles. Forward and to the left, and forward and to the right. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders forward in big, slow circles. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders backwards in big circles, nice and slow. Take a deep breath in. As you release, focus on your spine. See if you can tilt your head towards the left while you tilt your hips towards the right, curving your spine into an S from your head down to your tailbone. And then, can you switch sides? Can you do the same on the other side? One more big breath in. And as you release, you can stretch or move or adjust any part of your body that still needs a bit of help settling down. Having softened our bodies into a state of presence, or at least as much as we are able to do that, we can now turn our attention inwards and dive deep inside for the next part of our journey. With every next inhale, we'll hold our breath for a few short moments, followed by a really long, really slow exhale. Let's take a deep breath in. And hold. As you release, make it a really long, really slow exhale. And if I have forgotten to say this, if you can't sit with us for the whole meditation, this is always a good place to stop. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, feel into your body. Feel how softness slips in and settles in every part of your body. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, follow the downwards flow through your body. Feel your shoulders slowly falling. Feel your body slowly softening. And feel how you are slowly slipping deeper into you. One more big breath in. And hold. And as you release, feel yourself melting. Feel your whole body dissolving. Feel how you are slipping into a deeper level of surrender with every slow exhale. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose is an invitation. It invites you to turn inwards and follow this journey. As you breathe in, feel the air flow in through your nostrils. Feel the air touch the back of your throat. Stay with your breath as it flows in through your lungs. And as you fill up the balloon inside your belly, feel yourself slip all the way in. Hold your breath. But hold it only for as long as it feels easy, followed by a really long, really slow exhale. with your next big breath, as you dive deep into you. Jeff Brown also reminds us this morning that divine wisdom flows through you, through each of us. And we only have to stop and ask in order to listen to this divine wisdom. Take your next big breath. I love the Serenity Prayer for this exercise because the Serenity Prayer is a catalyst for wisdom. We can't reach out and touch the Serenity Prayer without taking a step closer to wisdom. The first line of the Serenity Prayer famously says, "God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change." I want you to repeat that to yourself a few more times. Please give me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change. Help me surrender. Help me let go. Accept the things that I cannot change. Take your next big breath. Now, are you able to ask and allow wisdom to speak? Are you able to ask the question without being desperate for the answer and not have your mind try and manufacture the answer? Can you ask in openness and in trust? Trusting that if you are ready, or when you are ready, the answer will be clear. As you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, the question is, please show me one thing that I do need to let go of. Please show me one thing that I have to accept that I cannot change. Or, same question, please show me one thing that I need to stop trying to control. Can you ask the question and also Completely let it go. Open yourself to hearing the voice of wisdom speak. Take your next big breath. The second line of the Serenity Prayer asks for the paradox on the other side of surrender. It says, please grant me the courage to change the things that I can change. Repeat that to yourself a few more times. Please give me the courage to take action, to step up and change the things that I can change. Take your next big breath. Now turn it into a question. Are you able to ask and not be desperate for an answer? Can you ask the question and also completely let it go? Let the voice of wisdom fill in the empty space. And trust that when you are ready, the answer will be clear. As you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, the question is, what is one thing that I do need to take action on? Please show me clearly one thing where I do need to make change. Take a deep breath, sit back, and listen. Take your next big breath. The Serenity Prayer acknowledges that navigating these paradoxes necessitates wisdom, and therefore asks for the wisdom to know the difference. Because if I don't know the difference, then I keep trying to control things that are not mine to control. If I don't know the difference, I step back and surrender where change does need to be made. The wisdom to know the difference. Please grant me the wisdom to know the difference. Take your next big breath. A question that I like to ask, which is not the kind of question that normally brings me an instant answer, but it brings me to a place where I'm open. You can try the question for yourself or use what you have come to know works for you. The question is, please show me what I'm not seeing. I try to remember to ask the question regularly. Please show me what I'm not seeing, because I can't possibly know if I don't see. I can't know what's there. I'd like to remain open to seeing what I'm not currently aware of. Please show me what I'm not seeing. Take your next big breath. Don't be surprised if, when we do this meditation, you often get the same answers again and again. I often do get the same answers again. Tends to be that being human, we often take our time to get it, to really learn the lessons. We'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together, slipping out of the breath-holding space and into the next. Let's take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, make it a really long, really slow exhale. breath in and hold. As you release, feel how softness slips in and settles in every cell of your body. One more big breath in and hold. And as you release, feel yourself slip all the way through. There is no more attention on your breathing. You can sit all the way back or even lie all the way back down and feel yourself just floating. I'll read to you one more time these few thoughts from Jeff Brown this morning. The first thought speaks to a similar kind of a paradox and kind of highlights our need for wisdom to navigate this. He says there are two forms of courage in this world. One demands that we jump into action with our armor on. The other demands that we strip ourselves bare naked and surrender. He says bravery is such a curious thing. And then he does remind us that wisdom is available. He says stop looking for answers outside yourself. You are the sculptor of your own reality. Don't hand your tools to anyone else. And then it says the only difference between you and God is that you have forgotten that you are divine. Divine wisdom is what you are made of. Wisdom is to be found in our ability to balance the paradoxes of life. I want to remind you again of the shallow truth and the deep truth. Shallow truth, which does not have the presence of wisdom. When we reach this shallow truth, it is easy to find proof of how true this is. It's easy to see clearly this is true, so the opposite thing is obviously false. But there is a deep truth. And we only get to the deep truth in the presence of wisdom, where the opposite thing is equally true. Just like the Serenity Prayer asks, is please grant me the wisdom to know the difference, to know when to take action, when to let go, when to armor up and charge into battle, and when to strip all the armor off, be vulnerable, and make peace. Please grant me the wisdom to know the difference. We have the last 5 breaths of gratitude to do together. With every exhale, I'll say my thank you, and I invite you to say yours. Let's take a deep breath in. Thank you for this journey of becoming more and more open to wisdom. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for learning to listen to the voice of wisdom. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for patience with myself as I learn my lessons. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for all the wonderful humans on this journey. One more big breath in. Thank you, beautiful people. Thank you for being on this journey with us. Antoinette, a very good morning. Good to see you. Maury, good morning. Hope that it's going very well in hospital and that you go home soon. Thank you, Maggie. Thank you, Danae. Thank you, Stefan. I love that. Courage is to show up. Love it. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Sunmuddy. I'm trying to remember who else is there. Such a big group this morning. I saw Stephen. Good morning, Stephen. It's good to see you. Anami, it was awesome seeing you. Anne-Marie, have a beautiful day. See you all again soon. Ciao, ciao.